So familiar, so loved, or so I thought. I woke up in a different world. The ceiling above me wasn't the pristine white of the private wing Sebastian had promised. It was gray with uneven patches of old paint. Instead of a private suite with a view of the Mediterranean, there were 4 beds in a row. Instead of peace and quiet, there was the hacking cough of a patient by the window and the drone of a television playing a game show. The pain in my left side hit me in waves, thick and heavy, growing unbearable with every breath. I tried to move, but my body wouldn't obey. I felt a drainage tube under my hand, disappearing under a thick gauze bandage. The touch of a foreign object in my own body made me nauseous. Where was Sebastian? He promised to be there. He promised his face would be the first thing I saw. The door opened on the 4th day after the surgery. Each word was a struggle for me, and I was starting to think there had been some horrific mistake. Sebastian walked in first, wearing a tailored navy suit, perfectly groomed, calm, and collected. Behind him, an orderly pushed down a Mercedes in a wheelchair, draped in a cashmere shawl, and following them was a woman I had never seen before, tall with the figure of a model, wearing a dress the color of fresh blood. She held Sebastian's arm with the ease of someone holding something that belonged to her by right. Sebastian walked to my bedside and tossed a brown envelope onto my chest. He didn't say a word. He didn't ask how I felt. The heavy paper felt cold against the thin fabric of my hospital gown. "This is for you," he said. "No honey, no sweetheart, no how are you feeling." His voice sounded like he was talking to a waitress who had brought the wrong order, polite and infinitely indifferent. With trembling fingers, I opened the envelope and pulled out the documents. A petition for divorce filed in court 3 days ago, the very day I was on the operating table. "I don't understand," I whispered. My voice sounded thin like a child's. "Why? I did everything you asked. Everything." Donna Mercedes gestured for the orderly to stop and turned her chair so she could see my face clearly. She didn't want to miss a single emotion. "You did. At least you were good for that." The pale, thin face of my mother-in-law twisted into a sneer of disgusted triumph. She looked at me as one looks at a used napkin before throwing it in the trash. "Did you honestly think my son married you for love? An orphan with nothing, no money, no education, no family to even ask where you went if you disappeared." The monitor beside my bed began to beep frantically. The numbers on the screen jumped, but I couldn't hear them. There was a roar in my ears, drowning out the world.